Family Farm. It is January out here in southeast Idaho, and so it is a bit chilly. We're actually getting a cold spell, and the kids and Darren are outside feeding the goats that we just got back from our goat farmer. We're hoping to have baby goats soon, so we'll have to keep you guys updated here on our YouTube channel about that. However, while my hard workers are outside, I'm gonna whip up some of what we call farmer curry using our Heritage Home Family Farm Indian spice mix. So me and Samuel are gonna get to work. We're gonna use our Dutch oven, and we are gonna use some of our pasture-raised chicken that we grew this last summer and been eating on it all winter. So yum. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mince up an onion, put it into my Dutch oven, saute it down just a little bit, and then I'm gonna add my chunks of chicken. So you'll see that. But first, before I get started, because this is really gonna be like 20-minute meal, 30-minute meal, I'm gonna push go on my rice cooker. Yes, I like to do things old-fashioned. However, there is always a place in your life for a rice cooker. And if you guys know us, our last name is Rice. We decided not to name our farm the Rice Family Farm because everyone we told that we were gonna name it that, they were like, so you're gonna grow rice? No, we are not growing rice. We live in southeast Idaho. Another funny story that you might not know is my maiden name is actually Brown. So when we got married, we had tons of jokes that we should hyphenate our last name so that it would be Brown Rice. Humorous, right? However, we did throw brown rice at the wedding, so I consider that a win. All right, let's get these onions into the pot. Sometimes onions can feel intimidating to cut because one, they can get in your eyes, strong ones, right? And be very, make you cry. But there is a trick to cutting onions that we have found, and that is to simply cut the onion in half, and then you're gonna make strips along the onion. Strips, 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 and then cut perpendicular, cut, 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 cut. Goes really fast, super easy. You might already use this trick at home, and if so, bless someone else. Bless someone else and tell them how to cut an onion. The last strip, just cut, 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 and you are good to go. All right, so we have all of these onions in our cast iron pot. Some people like to add butter or some kind of fat to sweat out your onions. You can, or the beauty about onions is you don't have to. So onto the stove it goes. There's so many things I love about this recipe. The first, though, you should note, is that we used to live in the Pacific Northwest. And if you know anything about that area, it is one of the food capitals of the nation, in that they have lots of fresh produce, lots of delicious foods, kind of the melting pot, if you will. So when we moved here to southeast Idaho, it was a little bit of a culture shock. Our favorite restaurants weren't here. Some of the profiles of flavors we were used to weren't here. And so as a family, we decided that we were going to learn how to make some of our favorite foods accessible to families and accessible to us to make a quick meal like we are tonight here in the winter. So this is one of our favorites. We do eat it year round. However, it is probably on the menu at least once a week, fall through spring. And that's because here in southeast Idaho, we have about 6 months of winter. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting in chunks. You can definitely put it in whole, you can do strips. This is just really a nice way for our family to eat it. Our family size is 9. There's 9 of us, 7 children, 2 adults. And so we make a lot of food in our little kitchen here. And one of the things that I like to tell people is I like to cook from the heart, meaning I'm not amazing at recipes. However, if you would like a detailed recipe of this farmer curry, you can go on our website at heritagehomefamilyfarm.com. I'll try to put the link below so that you can get direct access to this recipe. And you can definitely make it for any family size. As you'll see today, we are making it for a crowd, and we do love our leftovers. All right, I'm gonna give a stir to our onions. They look great. They're browning a bit on the bottom, so they're ready for this chicken. I used to watch the Food Network a lot, and one thing they would always say is brown is good. And that is definitely true when you remember my last name was Brown. But also it definitely gives it a layer of flavor when you can saute onions, you can put chicken into that browned yummy bottom, and then we're going to add in some liquid and scrape the bottom with our wooden spatula to really get all of that kind of flavor from the bottom of the cast iron. So I'm going to start with putting a little bit in now, get that going, and I'll keep cutting some up. This may seem to you like a really meat heavy dish, and we do like to eat a lot of protein around here. But also, I am notorious for overestimating what the amount of food we need and what pot I'm using. So I won't be surprised if this turns into 2 cast iron pots really fast, but we shall see, and you shall stick around to see if I've overestimated with this little pot or not. All right, so I'm gonna get this in. I'm gonna cook down our chicken, brown it up, and I'll give you a close-up to see what it looks like when it is done. Okay, so as that chicken is browning, we're going to just dice up some vegetables to put into our farmer curry. The reason why I got the name farmer curry is because we tend to put whatever kind of vegetable we currently have on hand, or what's growing in our garden or coming to the end of the garden. And today, since it is winter, we do have a lot of the winter staples like celery and carrots and potatoes. Gotta have potatoes in a farmer curry and in Southeast Idaho. But then we're also gonna add some other unique things. My kids really like pineapple in it and cashews. You really do have a lot of options when it comes to farmer curry of the things that you have on hand. It's a great way to get some veg into it. And we're gonna serve all of this concoction over rice with our special Heritage Home Family Farm Indian mix. I'm getting a little tired of my cutting board being so wiggly every time I cut. So here's a little trick if you get annoyed with the little things like I do. Take a paper towel and get it wet, rinse it out, squeeze it, take it, put it right on your surface, and cutting board right over, and now it won't move. Isn't that nice? As I'm cutting these veg up, I gotta tell you something fascinating to me when we moved here to Idaho about potatoes. One, have you ever seen a potato field? It's actually really beautiful. It's really green, and it feels like just acres and acres for potatoes in this area. But fascinatingly, and I think we told you on our last video, you could just go to the potato factory at any time in the whole year and just get like tons of potatoes. They have them on hand. However, there's one more thing that we haven't done yet that they do here in Idaho. They let you go glean potatoes, just like in the Bible. I feel like I'm Ruth and Naomi gleaning in the fields. Hey babes.
Hey, made it in from outside.
Made it in. How are the goats?
Oh, they're goating. they're good.
We have a Great Pyrenees named Ranger.
Yes.
And his ladies, the goats.
He's been so lonely.
He's been so lonely.
So lonely without the goats. But now the goats are back from getting bred, hopefully, at the goat farmer's place down the road. So we're hoping for kids in the spring.
Yes, and I was telling them earlier on this video that I will have to do a video to show them these adorable little goats. Newsflash or like pre-warning, our goal with one of them is a meat goat.
And a lot of people, like at least in this culture, haven't had goat before. I know it's really common meat in other cultures, but here we get kind of used to beef, pork, chicken. Speaking of chickens, we got some of our pasture-raised chicken breasts going in this today. And let me just tell you, I wasn't sure when we started raising chickens, like, will you really be able to tell a difference? And I'm here to say you can tell a difference when a chicken has really just lived an active life, lived a life on pasture, and a humane life with plenty of space. Makes a huge difference in just the texture of the meat and the flavor of the meat.
Even the color. Don't you think even the color?
Oh yeah, even the color. Like, it's not all just washed out and ultra pale. Like, even, it's white meat,
right? But
it has like a nice color to it. So we're really enjoying that. And if you want to get on a list at all, watch, because pre-orders for 2025 are coming soon. And last year we sold out our first processing date and sold most of our second one. So,
and warning, this year, 2025, chickens are getting sold like the chicks from the hatchery extremely fast. Like, there are places already sold out.
Yeah, so we got on the list early, and we'll have local chicken here in Southeast Idaho. So if you want some and you live local, let us know.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here's our chicken. It's all cooked now. Don't be afraid of some brown in your pan, because that is delicious. We add all the liquid. It's gonna just deglaze all that off the pan and add to the flavor.
Okay, here's the hour of truth. The moment has arrived. Will everything fit in the pot that I chose? Will it? My husband's laughing at me. He knows that this is not gonna be a favorable outcome. So again, don't be afraid of the brown. My husband and I love cooking together. We kind of have different rhythms that we do. He would have probably cooked the chicken with our spice. I tend to put it in when we put our coconut milk in. Speaking of coconut milk, I'm gonna start putting it in, and you guys, send up a prayer that this all fits. But this is actually a dairy-free meal, which is so nice if you're having company over, and it's gluten-free because our spice mixes are dairy-free, gluten-free, and sugar-free. So here we go. This whole bowl in. It's gonna fit. I think it's gonna fit. I know I still need to put the pineapple and the cashews, but those just melt in nice. So I'm waiting at the very end to put the spice in so I can kind of show you how much we put in as a family. This amazing thing about our spices and our recipes is that they're family friendly, and yet they're to your own taste. So my kids have been taught by their dad to like spice. I did not grow up liking spice. So all the credit to him. I will tell you confession stories another time. Oh, we're just going all in. All in. Do you guys like my cooking measurements here? This is how we do things. Woo, this bowl is full. All right. Some people in our family will add extra seasoning to their curry at the table, but we're gonna start it with about that much. So I'm gonna mix it up as best as I can without spilling, and then it's gonna go back on the stove to melt together, and the chicken's all the way cooked. So we're good to go when the family's good to go. You want up? You want my little blueberry today? Oh, what is that? Is that food? Yeah. Okay, it all fit, it all mixed. I'm gonna just put the lid on because once it comes to a simmer, I'm about 20 minutes for these potatoes, and then we're gonna eat. Okay, so about 7 to 10 minutes prepping all the food, cooking the chicken, and about 20 minutes in the pot with the potatoes. I like to cut them into slivers so that they do cook faster, and it makes it more accessible for kids too. And while that's happening, my son Noah prepared some flatbread dough. So when he gets in from goat duty, he's filling up the water. We're gonna roll out some flatbread to go with our meal tonight. You see this right here? This is a telltale sign that I push the limits on this pot. But let's take a look and see what it looks like. All right, look at this goodness. Our potatoes are cooked. It's packed full of veggies and protein. I'm so excited to go feed this to my family.
We are topping off this meal with some homemade flatbread. So we got this started this morning, and what we have here is our flour that we milled ourselves. That's a new thing for us that we're having fun doing. And we also, this is a sourdough flatbread. So we're gonna divide this out and roll it out and then get it on the cast irons with some of our lard that we rendered ourselves from our pigs this year. Look how nice and white and clean this is. Super awesome, healthy fat to cook with. Lord, thank you for this day. This food and bless our bodies, Lord, and keep everyone safe in our separate ways tonight. Amen. Okay.
Mom, she's squinting her eyes and she can still see.
You want rice, baby girl?